Hello everyone, welcome to another quick video about Warzone Quick Match Survival Series. So, three more games that I have for you guys today. The first one is on Red Redemption. I played against Erik. I won this one, but it was an interesting map to pick on and I wanted to discuss it a little bit with you guys and also get your opinion. If you guys feel like doing so, please don't forget to put comments below. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe, all that jazz, blah blah blah. Anyways, big strategy for Red Dead Redemption. Usually you want first turn bonuses. In this case you had two. You had West Diaz Coronas, which was unchallenged, and you had Rivermouth, which could be countered on the pick on either Worthington Ranch or less likely the Hanging Rock. So both of them seem high priority, but I spotted that there was a nice combo or a triple pick on Gaptooth Ridge, which usually you shouldn't go for a triple pick because, well, because if your opponent has one of the picks there, you're pretty much screwed. But in this case, since there were two high priority areas, I assumed that my opponent Erik would go for one of them and try to counter the other one and maybe go for safety, so he would likely be in Mexican border as well. So that was my estimate. That's what he would pick. So from this point, I could easily do a Gaptooth Ridge on first turn, and then either storm into Link's territory and smash No Salida, or get Sholia Springs before he had time to react, and I would have income advantage, and then I would be able to do some trickery to win him against the Mexican border. So I'm gonna play the game. I guess this is what we got, and at this point, I didn't know what he got. I suspect that he was either on the north or in the south. I didn't understand this pick at all, but he did do 1, 2, 3 here. And let me just take a second to explain why I don't think this is smart. The 1, 2 is perfectly fine. The 3 only makes sense. Well, there's two possible motives that you put the 3 here. One, you want to expand faster after you get the first turn bonus. You want to completely finish North Perdido right away, which is acceptable. But the problem is that you're likely or very likely to get countered on West Diaz Coronas because it's a hot zone first turn bonus. So it's if you do get it and you don't get West Diaz Coronas, then you have a pick that is pretty much useless. Or you can use it to counter West Diaz Coronas. That could also somehow work, although you would be behind on income, so it will be very hard to break Roca de Madera. But I guess you could flank to Sepulcro and then try to break it from there. It's a possibility, but I wouldn't recommend it on Red Dead Redemption. What I think he should have picked instead, if he would indeed wanted to go for West Diaz Coronas, would be to pick a Mexican border as his third pick, and then try to put the other pick on the other hot bones. That would be what I would have done if I would have gone for the first turn bonuses of the +3s. Instead, I went for the +4. So this is the evolution that we took. I just got on the first turn, I got my complete bonus, so I already had income advantage. At this point, he has slightly income advantage over me, but but I already have like full position ready to get both Chola Springs and River End. So that's what I do this turn. I also storm No Salida, thinking he's probably in Mexican border, but taking it slowly and expanding elsewhere. So I was gonna surprise him, but he's not there. So at this point, I was a bit confused. Like, what the hell is he doing? He doesn't have the most efficient income, so he clearly picked something weird. Either he could have both territories, both combos, like he tried to get position on the northern one, and has either the North Henningen's stead complete, or he has West Diaz Coronas complete, and one other position on the other one. And at this point in time, in turn 3, he probably already has both of them. But I'm pretty sure that I'm still ahead on income. So what I decided to do at this point was to walk towards the north, the east part of the map. But I know that I will need more income, and to go through the north train stops, it's likely that he will show up in Houston before I can finish train stops. So I do the risky business of trying to get Rio Bravo, which is wasteland. It's not that good, but if you control Fort Mercer, um, you can pretty much get the whole area pretty safe. So I decided to go for it, and the moment that I go for it, I notice that he's there. Like, what? What the hell is he doing there? That doesn't make any sense. Why the hell would he be there? But luckily for me, I went for Benedict Point, so I see this. If I hadn't gone for Benedict Point, I wouldn't be seeing this at all, and I would have been in a lot worse position. But as it was, I saw him. I decided to just cancel the plan of getting complete Rio Bravo for now, and just stock up next to Benedict Point and keep moving east, see where his other peaks are. So that's what I did. I went north in Dallas. I went to Fort Mercer. Actually, yeah, I did. I tried to do the sneaky play. I didn't remember this anymore. I deployed full and I did a lot of delays and I figured, okay, he's probably not gonna smash me. Um, so I'm gonna finish plain view behind me just to make sure that I have income advantage next turn. And then with the leftovers, I can move them back and I will be able to hold Benedict Point if it comes to that. And at this point, I thought he wouldn't be in Rio del Lobo, or he would have the complete thing. But I knew from Mercer Station that he didn't have Lake Don Julio complete. So this was a bit of a weird game at this point. I figured he most probably also still had North Ennington's Steed. He just expanded really fast, which I should have counted turns better because it wasn't possible that he was in Frontera Bridge already at this point. Anyways, next turn I keep expanding. I managed to hold on into Benedict's Point. I lose Fort Mercer though. That's a big impact, and I had to make some tough decisions. This turn he has income advantage. So at this point I realized, well, I need more income and I need to break Ponto Orgulho. I need to take back Fort Mercer, but he's probably gonna expect that at this turn, so it's gonna be impossible to do that. So instead, what I do, I guess I should go play by play. I deploy hard on top. I deploy double border here, trying to get a sneak attack in and break one of his borders on the south. Deploy just enough to keep Point Benedict safe, or well, safe unless he expands fully. And I delay a lot to make sure I have last action onto Tanner's span, which ended up being very positive. So you see, I got it there. And I delayed enough that I got to break Sidewinder's Gulch. So this was a very good turn for me. I managed to uh, counter the upset on Fort Mercer. At this point, I had to hold position in Tanner Span, maybe blockade it, maybe go south to get into South Ennigan's stead, and keep Ponto Orgulho broken, and maybe try to get back Fort Mercer. He was already getting Mercer Station, which it didn't make much sense. You didn't really need to get it. It doesn't really give you any positional advantage, but well, that's what he tried to do. And he expanded fully. If I had predicted this, I could have easily have broken him. He runs into my wall in Benedict Point, which is very useful. And this next point, I deploy a little in Escalada. I know that I probably will lose the Mexican border, so I don't really deploy much there. I try to defend Chola Springs, and he only deploys one in Montana Ford. He assumed I would attack with two. I attacked with three instead. So bad prediction on his behalf. Managed to get me a better position to break South Henning instead. So if he was more aggressive in trying to wipe me out from North Enningen's this turn, which I think would be his best play, he probably would have managed to win the game because he would have ended up with a big stack on Tanner Span, and he would still have chance to backtrack into Fort Mercer and either blockade it or something like that. So yeah, that would probably have been his best play at this point. Backtrack into Fort Mercer, blockade Fort Mercer, go into big stack into Tanner Span, and hope that I would deploy fully in Tanner Span and wipe me out from there. And then he would have a stack to break train stops and just defend his south border, maybe expand into Lake Don Julio. So yeah, I think he misplayed on this turn a little bit as well. So you're going to see the resolution of this. At this point, he still has income advantage, but I have a nice position to break some more of his bonuses, mostly the +5 up there. See what happens next turn. He deploys hard. I ignore that a lot. I decide to blockade behind me, I believe. Yeah, and he tries to wipe me out. He was a bit unlucky. He should have deployed more. And I take this opportunity to try to get back Fort Mercer. And I do get it back, so that's okay. So the point was, knowing that he would probably focus more on the north, I would deploy minimally to stay alive and maybe put a blockade there to just deny him the bonus and try to get back Fort Mercer. And I managed to do that, so that was another very successful turn for me. Um, See the resolution of the rest. I managed to secure Nosalida, which was also important. If I would give him access to Nosalida, he could easily break a river end on the next turn. So I wanted to make sure that I kept that. That's why I deployed more there. He should have predicted that though. And he doesn't manage to get back Ponta Orgulho either, so that's okay for me. So now we have a blockade up there, but it's a very small blockade. He's probably going to break through on this turn, so either I also attack this turn, that part, or I have to focus on the south and have like some very good positional advantage to compensate that. So I don't really remember what I did, so let's see, play by play. I deployed a little bit everywhere, I guess. Yeah, I deployed on all borders. I delayed a lot and tried to get back Mexican border. Unfortunately, attacked south border, so I couldn't get that. But I managed to secure all the other ones. And now I see that he went for a 10er span, which makes sense. And he has income advantage once again. So I need to break through somewhere, either towards Frontera Bridge or towards Rio del Lobo. There's also the option of going through San Luis Bridge, but it's a bit wasteful. If you go through here, you don't. Well, you will have to deploy a lot to break Ramita de la Bahia. Otherwise, he will just deploy something there and you just won't be able to break it. So it depends. You need to have good position on the other places of the map for you to make sure. I thought going towards Rio del Lobo would be a lot better because then you could go to Kutz Chapel and threaten more of his bonuses. So I think that's what I ended up doing. I invested harder into Fort Mercer. Indeed, I put more on both. He deployed enough to stay alive. I decided to backtrack on the north because I could just wait. And, well, I knew I was going to get broken. I just didn't know with how much. So I decided to backstep and then control Austin a little bit and force him to go around if he wants to break my income while I push towards the south. So I got both positions that I wanted to, both Rio del Lobo and Frontera Bridge. So at this point, it was pretty good. Even though I was behind on income, I was likely to break North Perdido, likely to break Roca de Madera, and also flank into Kutz Chapel. So I had pretty decent position. I just needed to explore it and not get like lose Ponta Orgulho completely or something like that. He almost tried to get back Ponta Orgulho, didn't deploy enough. I decided that he was gonna deploy hard in the south, so I was just going to flank into Kutz Chapel and try to sneak back capture of Houston. Because you have this feeling once you break a bonus, as you feel, they already know it's impossible to defend it, they won't deploy anything, and I'm just gonna attack with a full stack, and that's usually a big mistake. Sometimes it's alright, but it depends a lot on the income difference and how the rest of the map is shaping out. So in this case, it was a mistake from him. He didn't deploy at all, and he even rammed me first action. So this was a huge mistake in my book. Even if you want to still attack, you should delay a lot and attack it last action, just in case your opponent just deployed like you had a stack of 6. If your opponent deployed like 8 and he delays a lot, if you run with a 6 against a stack of 8, you lose all of your 6 and your opponent is able to capture back your territory. So for those reasons, you should always delay a lot when you're not deploying in a recently broken area. So this was another big mistake from Erik's side, in my opinion. and I just flank in toward Kut's Chapel, and now I have a lot better position, and I will have the same income. Actually, I lose Punta Orgulho. That's a bit of a setback, but I managed to get back train stops. So if I can break either Tanner Span or Southampton instead, or even West Diaz Coronas, and hold on into Benedict Point and Nosalida, I should probably still have the game. So that's what I try to do. Deploy 10 there. Apparently, I didn't give a damn about Rio del Lobo. Yeah, because I saw the bridge in between Green Hollow and Casa Madrugada. So I thought, okay, even if I don't break him on Roca de Madera, I can break him on Casa Madrugada, so it doesn't matter. He's gonna have to defend both because he doesn't want a double border in the north. Even though it's already pretty much broken from that stack, I would have deployed more into Green Hollow instead of dividing it. Um, but yeah, I think overall he played too passively. When he had income advantage, he should have been more aggressive and break more of my bonuses or try to claim back some of his broken bonuses when he had a chance. Now I have income advantage, so if I manage to hold on to Fort Mercer or just break more stuff, should be able to win the game. And he doesn't deploy enough to Rio del Lobo to break Fort Mercer, so at this point I knew I most probably had the game. His main opportunity was still in Nosalida, and he didn't deploy enough to break me there either. So, yeah, this was game at this point. But it was a really close match. In the end, I ended up wondering a lot if the triple pick on Gaptooth Ridge was really the best idea or not, or if it was just a cheeky play by me. Because being surprised on Frontera Bridge was pretty much a fluke. Um, he should have had one of the plus threes and then the plus two, and I would have surprised him on the plus two. And if I had done that, I would have had income and position advantage at that point. But the way he played out going through the plus four, I don't know if it was intentional or not, but it worked out well for him. But somehow he didn't manage to capitalize on it. I guess I just have more experience in micromanaging troops and stuff like that, and regaining some small advantages here and there that snowball into an overall win. So this was the game from Red Redemption. Let me know what you guys think on the comments below. I think this video is gonna be just this game. I think having 3 games is a bit more confusing. I think for debate, it's better if you just have 1 game. So let me know what you guys think of this game, what you would have played, what you think Erik should have played, in what turns that it was most crucial that I already mentioned. But let me know in the comments below or on the Warlight forum thread. See you next video. Bye bye everyone. Take care.